Hi everyone, and welcome. In this video, we'll explore how to use the hyperlink function in Excel to create links to cells, sheets, workbooks, websites, and even email addresses. We'll also cover simplified syntax options that make creating hyperlinks easier and more intuitive. Let's start by learning how to use the hyperlink function to jump to different locations within the current worksheet. We'll begin with the traditional syntax, which includes the workbook name enclosed in brackets, followed by the worksheet name and the cell address. When you press Enter, Excel creates a hyperlink in the cell. Clicking on the link takes you to cell A2 in the same worksheet and selects it. If you update the formula to reference another cell, such as changing A2 to B2 or B12, the hyperlink dynamically adjusts. Now, clicking the link will jump to the newly specified cell. The hyperlink function takes two arguments. The first argument is the link location, which is required. The second argument is the friendly name, which is optional and represents the text displayed in the cell. If you don't provide the second argument, Excel will display the link location instead. Now let's look at an alternative simplified syntax that uses the hash symbol. This method omits the workbook name and directly references the cell address within the worksheet. This approach is more concise and easier to use. Our both examples work the same way. The version with the hash symbol is simpler and easier to understand. Next, we'll create hyperlinks that jump to different worksheets in the current workbook. Using the traditional syntax, we specify the workbook name, the target worksheet, and the cell address. Clicking this link takes you to cell D1 on sheet 2. Updating the formula to cell A1 will redirect the link to cell A1 on sheet 2. For the simplified syntax, we use the hash symbol hashtag, followed by the worksheet name, an exclamation mark, and the cell address. This approach eliminates the need to include the workbook name, making it simpler to implement. Now, let's explore how to create hyperlinks that jump to named ranges or objects within the workbook. To view all named ranges, go to the Formulas tab and click Name Manager. In our workbook, we have 3 named objects: categories, products, and sale. Names are unique within a workbook. When linking to named ranges or objects, there's no need to specify the worksheet name. For the traditional syntax, write the workbook name enclosed in brackets, followed by the name of the range or table you want to jump to. Clicking the link will take you directly to the range or table named Sale. Using the simplified syntax with the hash symbol, the formula becomes even simpler. You don't need to enter the workbook or worksheet name. Just use the name of the range or table, followed by the hash symbol in the hyperlink function. As you can see, regardless of whether the named ranges or objects are located on different worksheets, you only need to reference their names when creating hyperlinks. If you modify the formula by changing the name of the range or table, it will take you to that range or table, no matter which worksheet it resides in. Now, let's add a friendly name in the second argument of the hyperlink formula to make your links more intuitive. The friendly name is the text displayed in the cell, helping users understand what the link does. For example, if you write total sale in the second argument of the hyperlink formula linked to the sale table, this formula will take you directly to the range or table named sale, and the link will display total sale in the cell. In this section, we'll explore how to use the hyperlink function to link to external workbooks. To link to another workbook, simply enter the full path along with the workbook name as the first argument in the hyperlink function. This formula creates a hyperlink. When you click the link, Excel opens the specified workbook. To make your hyperlinks more user-friendly, you can use the second argument of the hyperlink function to define a friendly name. With this approach, instead of displaying the file path in the cell, the friendly name appears, making your links cleaner and more intuitive for users. If the current workbook and the target workbook are stored in the same folder, you can skip the full path and just use the workbook name. This makes the formula more concise while still functioning correctly. To create a hyperlink that jumps to a specific cell on a specific worksheet in an external workbook, you need to include the full path and workbook name enclosed in brackets. Then, add the worksheet name, followed by an exclamation mark and the cell address where you want to jump. As mentioned earlier, if the external workbook is in the same folder as the current workbook, you can omit the full path and just use the workbook name. Alternatively, you can use the hash symbol instead of brackets. Write the hash symbol after the workbook name, then the worksheet name, followed by an exclamation mark and the cell address. If the worksheet name contains spaces, you need to enclose it in single quotes. For example, let's say the worksheet name is employee list. If you don't use quotes, Excel will throw an error saying reference isn't valid. To fix it, enclose the sheet name in single quotes. Now, when you click the hyperlink, it opens the external workbook and jumps to the specified cell, even if the sheet name contains spaces. As mentioned earlier, if the external workbook is in the same folder as the current workbook, you can omit the full path and just use the workbook name. Otherwise, make sure to include the full path. Finally, you can use the second argument of the hyperlink function to give your link a friendly name. Next, let's create a hyperlink to a named range or object in an external workbook. Named ranges are unique and global within a workbook, so you don't need to specify the worksheet where the named range is located. Simply enter the workbook name in square brackets, followed by an exclamation mark and the name of the range or object. Alternatively, you can use the hash symbol to specify the path and workbook name, followed by the name of the range or object. Both approaches work perfectly. And as always, you can use the second argument to add a friendly name for the link, making it more descriptive for users. Let's move on to creating web links and email links using the hyperlink function. Creating a web link is straightforward. Enter the URL in the first argument of the hyperlink function and provide a user-friendly name in the second argument. This creates a clickable link. When you click it, the link opens the specified URL in your default web browser. Now, let's create an email link. To do this, use the mail to prefix followed by the email address of the recipient. For instance, if you want the link to open an email address to info@brainbell.com, you would write as shown on the screen. When you click this link, it opens your default email client with the recipient's email address pre-filled. All you need to do is write the subject and body of the email before sending it. With these techniques, you can quickly add web and email links to your Excel spreadsheets, making it easier for users to navigate or connect directly with contacts. Thank you for watching. Please share this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Excel tips and tutorials. Your support helps us create more valuable content. See you in the next video.